Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, you already know my name is Adonia, and if you haven't been here before, I'm gonna go ahead and give you 10 seconds to subscribe. If you did not subscribe after that 10 seconds, honestly, just call yourself a big hair. So today we're going to be doing something completely new on my channel. Hopefully it sticks. I was inspired by a YouTuber named Bailey Sarian, or Sarian. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right. Basically, she's a YouTuber and she covers horror, murder, and she does her makeup while she's talking, as if she's telling a story or a narrative or whatever. So with today's video, and hopefully videos in the future, if you guys like it, I'll be talking about controversial topics, but providing you guys with history on why the topic is either important or why it's even existent. So today's topic is about a conversation I saw on Clubhouse and a conversation I saw on Twitter. And what I had seen was people saying, are Africans black? Information I process is going to be completely different from how you process information. Do not waste your time and comment and talk about If you like to politely fact check me, you can go ahead and comment below. Maybe I got a fact wrong, or maybe I said something wrong, maybe I didn't phrase it right. Go ahead and comment below. I'm open and I'm all ears to what you guys have to say, but don't come downstairs and say something that I'm not going to read, okay? Because block. So everyone buckle up your seats, because we are going on a bit of a history journey.
Diaspora, an interesting word. It means the dispersal of human beings. The greatest human dispersal in the history of mankind has been the transatlantic slave trade, which has dispersed black Africans to every corner of the world. But diaspora to other parts of the world has meant a permanent connection to the homeland, whether it is Italians to Italy or Indians to India, Lebanese to Lebanon, and the Jews to Israel. It has meant a permanent connection. But the trauma of Africa's experience in this sort of diaspora that slave trade was, is the absence of that homeland permanent ties. You've had black Africans feeling assimilated to different parts of the country, different parts of the world. And in a way that they no longer look at Africa as a homeland. Imagine the effect of having, say, a Michael Jackson feeling a pure African connection to Senegal, or Magic Johnson to Ghana, or indeed Martin Luther King to Nigeria. And you would have had the greater influence and greater spread of knowledge and contribution to the wealth and development and the powerhouse that Africa could well have been.
Okay, so I already did my eyebrows off of camera. So when you're referring to the African diaspora, you're referring to human beings dispersed across the globe. And in this case, we're talking about Africans. So I first saw this conversation on Clubhouse. And I'm not going to say exactly what everyone was saying on Clubhouse, because that's the privacy of Clubhouse. The title that made me click in the room was are Africans black? And I've seen this conversation on Twitter as well. I've talked to my friends about it. So I was like, you know what? Let me come here and talk to you guys about it. People in the chat were coming from a perspective of some people felt like Africans were black. Some people felt like Africans weren't black. And some people just felt like they just felt. So some of the perspectives I was hearing were that Africans or people across the globe, like i.e. Jamaicans or Cubans or Grenadians, identify with their different nationalities and cultures, and they don't consider themselves to be black. Around 1444, 10 Africans, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, were taken as a gift to Prince Henry, which was the navigator of Portugal at the time. But shortly after, 235 slaves followed. I guess they had a taste of the slaves and they were like, wait, we can get free labor? We can get free everything for free? Guinea land at the time was referred to the West Coast, or what we know as the West Coast today, which consists of Mali, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, you know the whole West Coast, y'all. So where did they get the name Guinea? Guinea translates to a dark-skinned person. So they referred to the land as the dark-skinned people land. Now during that time, Guinea land consisted of Mali, Mansa Musa, Songhai, and Sunny Ali, as well as the Oyo Empire. In 1620, the Royal African Company, founded by King Charles II, kicked off the infamous company of taking slaves. I want you guys to guess how many slaves were taken from 1501 and 1867, I believe. Cue the music. 4.8 million slaves, and this is a rough estimate, were exported from the Bites, which is just little parts of Nigeria. Just little parts of Nigeria alone between 1501 and 1867. We're not even talking about the whole of Africa. We're just talking about 2 spots in Nigeria. Now, slaves were taken just about anywhere. In the US, 80% of slaves came from Africa. Slaves would be transported to Cuba, Jamaica, anywhere, Grenada, Haiti. 95% of Black descent in Haiti comes from Africa. A lot of these places with these different nationalities have African descent, people who belonged or people who come from Africa. The Igbo, which was later changed to Igbo because white people couldn't pronounce it, the Oyo and the Obibio account for 40% of slaves taken from Africa to Jamaica between the 1500s and the 1700s. You can't make this stuff up. So jumping out of that history lesson, when I hear people say, are Africans Black? So to the side of people that say Black culture and, you know, Black people have made scraps of from nothing really and developed their own culture, I completely understand. I see that perspective. Black people were given at the end of the day, and what they produced and the culture that they made is really outstanding. And that's why I feel like so many people are fascinated with Black cultures. But it is almost, it would be a lie to deny that those scraps that they're picking up don't have roots from African history. Those scraps relate back to something. In African hymns and gospel hymns, Amazing Grace was even written by a former slave trader, John Newton, who basically felt so much remorse for the atrocities he committed. Black history has roots of African history. A lot of culture was brought here. There were so many people from different parts of Africa. We're talking Nigeria, we're talking Ghana, we're talking Cameroon, that were brought to America, to the UK. I think the whole conversation of saying Black culture is a completely independent culture that has no roots and stems is a lie. Black culture has a lot of traces to African culture, but at the end of the day, Black culture is its own individual culture of now. It's very important to watch documentaries. It's very important to pay attention to history, watch shows, read articles. So many things that were hidden or forced to be hidden so we wouldn't know our history. An Italian man can be in China. An Italian man can be in Portugal. An Italian man can be in the UK. An Italian man can be in Africa. An Italian man can be in the US, but he would still identify as an Italian man. There's actual letters of kings that made sure to assimilate these people in the diaspora and made sure that they would identify with the places that they would be taken. If I'm a slave trader and I'm taking slaves to Jamaica, or I'm taking slaves to the US, or I'm taking slaves to UK, their main goal was to make sure that the slaves or the Africans or the Blacks, or however you want to call it, would identify with the land that they were taken to erase the whole idea of a homage or a homeland. Now, there was also a bunch of agendas. I think I said this in my video before. There was a bunch of agendas to make sure that Blacks saw Africans as zero, as dirt, and to make sure that Africans saw Blacks as zero, as dirt. Growing up in America, it was quick. If I didn't have my Nigerian roots, I would think that Africa just consisted of people with flies on them. You know, literally growing up, people would ask me, oh, how did your parents get here? How did they get on a plane? I thought there was no planes in Africa.
Hold up, wait a minute. It's a 22. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew.
They try to convince people that there's nothing to Africa, so people don't look there. Now, the British ruled on 3 major terms: robbery, reign, and direct rule. But they camouflaged it as commerce, Christianity, and civilization. I think the same way that Africans were bamboozled was the same way that people in America are bamboozled on the perception of Africans, on what's actually going on back home. A lot of people remember the sin of segregation and slavery, but forget the original sin, which was taking the people and losing resources and taking resources to push the Industrial Revolution. A lot of people don't even know the Industrial Revolution is on the backs of Africans, on the backs of the West Coast. A lot of Americans feel like African Americans were the only ones, or are even the only ones, still suffering from the oppression of Britain or the Portuguese or anyone who had to deal with the sharing pot or sharing plate. A lot of African countries, Nigeria, Cameroon, Congo, South Africa, are still reaping the benefits of exploitation and robbery from these same traders, slave traders, and kings, literally. When you don't know your history, you are easily fooled to believe that the enemy that you really have never existed. Take example, the Guinea coin. The Guinea coin was made out of gold that was exported or exploited from the Guinea land. As time went on, as different kings came into power, there was an elephant at the bottom of the Guinea coin that symbolized the African Royal Company, which I mentioned earlier, that started the slave trade. Now, when you remove that symbol, you remove its history. I think with this conversation, you are doing more harm than good. Basically assimilating and separating and making people feel as if Africans and Black people are 2 completely different things. And when you create that border and you create that divide, it's a conversation that kind of points towards more negativity than positivity at the end of the day. Nobody is robbing Africans of their history, and nobody's robbing Black people of their history. These are 2 completely different cultures that took ruins and made them into beautiful cultures. Africans and African Americans, you can't even say African Americans without saying African. It's important to acknowledge all cultures. It's important to acknowledge all struggles, but let's not create conversation that divides us. Let's not create conversation that makes us opposed to one another. Self-education is important. Awareness is important. And understand that we are really just all one people. If you dip a chicken nugget in barbecue sauce, honey mustard, and sriracha sauce, it's different flavors. But at the end of the day, you're still a chicken nugget. Another conversation that I wanted to have is for Africans. Africans, forgive, forgive, forgive. The ignorance that we've experienced from Black Americans, from just Americans. Growing up, you heard that African booty scratcher, you heard that, oh, you eat fufu and all that, but all this stems from ignorance. How long are we going to let trauma defeat us from reaching the bigger picture? A lot of Africans have that mindset of this is a closed society, because for so long a lot of us were ridiculed for even having a society. Pay attention to how that same ignorance was implanted upon Black Americans to identify us as dirt, as nothing, and create a barrier between us. A lot of Africans have to forgive that trauma of, oh, Black people call me this. Educating people is important for the betterment of a whole. So I just wanted to really touch on that topic because that is something that I personally had to go through. So hopefully you were able to get something from this video, find out something from this video. Please let this video spark your imagination and your desire to find out more about history, your desire to find out more about hidden history, information, documentaries. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and watch this video. Hopefully you are able to leave with something, learn something new, or hear a different opinion. I'm open to different opinions, so make sure you guys comment below anything that you said. You want to oppose something, you want to comment on something, but don't come here and say nonsense because I'll block you. And don't forget to follow me at Nia.Speaks, and that's below. Everything in terms of my face is going to be below. Subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.